Isn't marketing just advertising? It's easy. Anyone can do it. But is that really true? We're going to talk all things marketing with Julia Kramer of JFK Marketing on this episode of Crushing It with Your Tribe podcast. Stay tuned.
As a Texas realtor, Robin McCoy is in the unique position to meet and know so many different people in a wide range of industries. These people are her tribe, and she leverages them not only to help her business, but to help theirs as well. Welcome to Crushing It with Your Tribe, where we share real talk about building business and life relationships. Here is your host, Robin McCoy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Crushing It with Your Tribe podcast. And today we're with Julia Kramer, and we're going to talk about marketing and marketing for small businesses. Now, she has over 15 years of experience in marketing. Julia has achieved triple-digit growth for multiple companies across a diverse portfolio of businesses. Her track record of delivering exceptional business impact is accomplished by understanding and clearly communicating the true value of technical and complex products. Julia was named the top 10 businesswoman of ABWA in 2015 and is an active speaker helping businesses learn how to create content that converts. She has mentored through the WeWork Labs program, helping startups build strategic plans to reach their target audience. She is the owner and proprietor of JFK Marketing. Julia, hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, what's marketing? It's just advertising, right?
You're so cute sometimes. Marketing is so many. One of the reasons I love marketing is there's so many facets of marketing. It keeps you on your toes, and you should always be learning. So I think that is certainly the perception often is marketing is how I look on social media and where I'm putting my ads, what my ads look like. Do I have a pretty logo? Do I have a cool tagline? And although, all those things have their place in a larger marketing plan, you first have to have a marketing strategy. And so sort of the anchor to everything that you do in marketing is first creating and developing that strategy. The problem that I see with most businesses, smaller to mid, when you get into the enterprise level spheres, obviously they're paying people lots of money to figure all this out for them. But in those smaller mid-sized businesses, you often have people who are trying to do too many things at once and just trying to be everywhere at once, trying all the new, all
the shiny objects that show up.
And not really focused, not really kind of trying to first understand what their strategy should be. And so marketing is first a strategy on how you are going to present yourself externally.
So let's back up and let's talk about that as a small business, like you said, small to mid, where the entrepreneur, if you will, is in charge of all the things, right? They're doing everything from the admin work to the sales, to the marketing, to the presentations, to the accounting. All of it. And none of them, and many of those things may not be their specialty. Most of them probably aren't.
Most often they're not, and why should they be, right?
Exactly. So when you approach a small business and you're talking to them about marketing and their marketing strategy, what is a marketing strategy? What does that mean to me as a small business owner?
Yeah. So most people, first of all, it's not so much me approaching them because I'm not in the business of trying to convince people that they need me. I don't want to be a salesperson. And I find that often, it manifests itself in the fact that they're not hitting their goals. And they're realizing that, I feel like most people start out thinking, oh, marketing, it's easy. I'll just do what I'd want to do for me. And everybody becomes a marketer, right? Until they realize that what they're doing isn't actually working. And then they aren't sure where to look for that help.
Right.
And so the businesses that that I have approached already have a question mark around what they're doing and have expressed in some way that they know and understand what they're doing isn't working. More often than not, there is the main reason is that they don't have a good sense of who their target audience is, and therefore don't have a good sense on who they need to present, how they need to present themselves to that target audience, how to find that target audience. And so when I do open up to conversations with these small businesses, one of the first things I hear is, well, we can sell to anybody. Well, I know you can, but you don't want to market to anybody.
Right.
That's just a waste of your money.
Right.
And so
it's like a skincare person that says, my customer is anybody with skin.
Right. That's not, that sure, anybody with skin can use your products, but you try really breaking out a niche and getting the attention of anybody, quote unquote, with that message. And especially in a crowded market, it's just not going to be effective.
Yeah.
So, most people, it's having a very in-depth conversation around who is your ICP, who is your ideal client profile. So you think, the first exercise, because unfortunately, when you pay me, I end up giving you homework. I don't know.
Oh, you don't do it for me? You're going to make me angry
with that. I know, but like I said, I'm not a salesperson. I just like to get things done. And so we have a conversation about, okay, so if you can't name for me right now, and most people can't, who your ideal client profile is, who are your best customers? And by best, I mean everything from you have the most, you're most profitable with them, to you enjoy working with them, to they are a brand champion for you, right? Who are those people? And you'll find very easily that there is a common thread among those folks that you can then say, okay, to just describe those people, give them like a universal face and name in your head. Okay, then how do and that's what creating a persona is, right? And then, okay, where does that person, get their information? Where does that person hear about me? Where does that person how do they understand my businesses and my business and my value? And that helps you craft your message, and that helps you understand where to place that message and at what times and when to place that message.
So it's almost like somebody told me it was like creating an avatar. So my perfect client is 27 years old, and it's a single woman who is in an executive position and, drives a Lexus. I don't know.
You give them a name,
something like that.
And some brands have and then you give your brand that person, you build your brand in that persona. Okay. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Justin Boots, but that was back in the day, we were doing sort of a partnership, an agency I was working with Balcom Agency in Fort Worth. And they were talking about that account and their process and how that Justin Boots had decided, who are they? Like, what's their voice? And they decided, we're Matthew McConaughey. I mean, they weren't using his name externally, right? This is but they're like, okay, that's who we are. So that's like the voice that we want to try and use when we're talking.
All right.
Yeah. And it's when we're trying to talk to our clients, when we're trying to talk to, post on social media or write content or, find them, where would people, where would Matthew McConaughey be, kind of a deal. And so, that they had fun with it internally first with understanding this persona. When I was at Thomson Reuters, when we went through this whole persona exercise, they made huge cutouts of the personas with the names on them, and they had them all over the marketing department, and we would refer to them as that person with that made up name when we were talking through the strategy. And it just really helps to give you direction. What happens is you end up, so most people are either spending an exorbitant amount of money on marketing and not seeing anything from it, or they're grossly underspending and then wondering why it's not working. And so what happens if you understand your audience and where to find them, then you have a more targeted way of, it helps you to build that budget in the correct sort of, it gives you the correct parameters, right?
Sure.
You can do things like say, okay, from my ICP, my ideal customer persona, this person typically spends X amount, right? That ideal customer profile. Then you can say, okay, my goal is now to get X amount of those accounts. Okay. So then you have, let's just say 10 people spending $1,000. And so that's going to be your $10,000 is your goal for, that month, right? I'm going to get 10 new customers at $1,000 per customer. So my sales goal is $10,000. Then depending on the market that you, how you fit in the market, like if you're what we call, a new entrant into the market, you need to spend a little bit more. If you're a startup, brand awareness, it should at least be 10% of your budget. So you would then know, or what your expected revenue, So you would then say, okay, I need to spend $1,000 on marketing in order to get to that 10. If you are a more established brand, and maybe this is just like a product launch under the brand, or maybe it's just, to acquire new clients, but you have a pretty, long-standing brand in your space, then that's going to look more like 3%. Right.
Oh, okay.
So, but it helps you back into your goal. If you understand your ideal profile customer, it helps you, and what your business needs and wants and your goals. And it helps with those two things. It helps you come up with a realistic budget. And then, of course, anything outside of that amount, you should be asking yourself, why are we spending this? Like, will that, if that makes sense, right? And you wouldn't want to do a monthly budget anyway. You want to do a yearly budget, obviously, but I'm trying to give, an example. But it gives yourself a way to stay accountable to your goals and priorities. And that's another and you can have more than one. So what I always try and say, you're losing sight of your strategy if you have 5 or more priorities.
Right.
Can
you really have more than one priority? Because then it's not
3, but you're going to rank them.
Okay, because I'm going to say, a priority means it's most important. So you can't have 3 most importants.
Yeah.
You just did.
And so even I've seen 3 to 5, but then, you have a percentage. So when you go into set a goal, you might have, okay, so these are my priorities, right? And you allocate a budget to each of those priorities and give them each their own plan, right?
Yeah.
And so this concept of how you build and define a strategy, ahead of going in and starting to spend, is something that large corporations do and do successfully, that is easily transferable to a small mid-sized business, right? Like a lot of people feel like because they don't have a corporate, enterprise budget of Google, that they can't be, well, how am I supposed to do that? I'm not going to be successful. Well, Google's a much larger company with a much bigger, revenue number to hit. So of course they're going to spend more advertising. It doesn't mean, but that same like strategy and the way that you determine your budget, it still applies to you. Just because your marketing dollars are less does not mean they have to be less effective, right?
Because you're not going out to the world like Google is.
Right. And
you're going to your community.
Right. And if you were going to go out to the world, you're not going to go out to the world all at once. You're going to go out to the world in pieces, again, strategically prioritizing the countries, prioritizing the next geographical area. So that's all part of your strategy. So I went very high level when I talked about ICP and just like the persona, but the persona would also include, and your strategy would, okay, when I said where I find this person, right? Yeah. or business if you're B2B, and I mostly have been, but what is, where do they exist? Who am I going after?
Right.
There was a small, you know, uh, leather company. They have really cute leather purses. And I was talking through the guy. I said, well, how would I even how would you do this? We don't have the budget. Like, they have an online store. They don't have an brick and mortar. They're in Colorado. I said, well, I would find a place, because you're trying to build, they have a whole nonprofit end, and there's a real nice why to them, as well as having cute purses, if that makes sense. And so it's like, how do they're trying to market like buy our purse, our cute purse, which it's not like Louis Vuitton prices, but it's not walking up to, your thrift store either.
Right.
And so they're still like pricier, but not crazy. And I said, well, what you first need to think about doing is finding where your sales come from. Because I said, without even, just being a lover of purses myself, without even having an idea of like any of your database at all, I would say, Texas, there has to be some little neighborhood like mine, and Trinity Falls, Texas of McKinney, there's a bunch of suburban moms with a decent amount of, disposable income, who really would appreciate not only a cute purse, but the story behind it. Right. And that they could to find and maybe do a pop-up shop, close to them, and get a brand champion or two out of their little area to then start talking. And then you kind of find a couple little neighborhoods like that, where you really just sort of saturate your efforts and get those brand champions and, doing the work for you. Right. And he said, oh my gosh, Texas is our number one selling state. And
because Texas women love cute leather purses.
I mean, yeah. And and I'm like, and he's like, you thought about like going by like this neighborhood by neighborhood, and that sounds silly, but like it's a decent sized neighborhood too. So
yeah.
But picking really being hyper focused on that persona, again, helps you better understand where to find them. And really I call it even guerrilla marketing in that instance. You're really going in, you're just taking back little bits of territory.
Yeah, I was going to say it's taking territory in an area, and you do this area, and now you are the leather purse.
Yeah,
it's like choice.
It's like playing a game of Risk, right? There's certain parts of Europe that are, if you've ever tried it, Europe is so hard to get because there's all these little tiny countries that you have to overtake, right? You get something like America, strategically, like there's only 3 countries in it to take over. So it's do one of those, and then you like it is like that, where you're looking at your all of your possibilities like a risk board, and then you're focusing your efforts on a couple of them one by one, winning them over, and until you get the results that you need to then prop you up to go into the next territory.
Well, do you find that some of these, the smaller companies want to try and move too quickly, and they're like, oh yeah, they're suburban moms, and I know they like purses, so I'm just gonna talk to people in Dallas because it's all suburbs?
Be the leader you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the 4th Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
And they're like, oh yeah, they're suburban moms, and I know they like purses, so I'm just gonna talk to people in Dallas because it's all suburbs.
I find more often than not, it's not that they want to move, it's more that they're risk averse. They think that focusing too narrowly, people are not sold on the idea that will actually work. and they think, well, I can't make all my money that way, right? Like I need more people in order to make more money.
But isn't it true that when you start, because you talked about your brand, whatever, I don't remember the term you use, but
champions,
yeah, they're your raving fans, they're your, the ones that are going to talk about you. And by starting, social media is all about that, right? That's what, oh my God, I love this pink binder clip. Everybody needs pink binder clips. And now everybody wants my pink binder clips.
Yeah. But it's that narrow focus. You have to do that in the beginning in order to get some of those. Like there's other ways to do it too. Just asking for a story, putting a contest around it with a really cute giveaway or something, and then using those stories yourself. In B2B, business marketing, one of the key things that we do before any product release is to build a brand champion before we even go to market with it. Build in one. So you got your what's called early adopters, and you go in, you even give it away really cheap, if not free, like try this, and you're solving a problem for them, but they're usually people who are open to being that guinea pig and trying the new thing, because they appreciate the ability to influence how it's made. And so you find those people, and then you invest in them and allow them to invest in you, and you grow together, and they become like a really nice case study that you then, when you do launch, go to market with that. So that's another strategy. Even before, like when I was consulting startups, that's what I would talk to them about is, who are your early adopters? If they haven't been to market yet, pick some early adopters, to really build relationships with and follow their story closely, which is good anyway from product development. And then take what they're saying and, you create a story around how the product or service or solution is impacting their lives. And of course, they're giving you some really honest, constructive feedback at the same time. So if you're starting just from ground zero, then that's the best approach for that same reason, right? If you already have an established business, it doesn't mean you can't go back to the drawing board with that and say, you know what, we're trying to better understand our market. Would you be willing to, let us, give you a free purse? That's that example, but, tell us what you think, or let us talk to you about our story, or, we want.
Can you use this for 6 months? And, whether it's a software program or purse, can we talk with you over the course of this time to understand how you use it, why you use it, what you like and what you don't like?
Right.
Basically.
So there's definitely ways of creating those brand champions at any stage of your business. So that helps to get the adoption and the stories on the marketing materials. But first you got to understand, your target market in order even to know who to go after.
Well, and I think that is probably, it sounds simple, but I bet that is the one thing when you are sitting down with newer potential clients and you're giving them their homework to figure out who this persona is, that is probably one of the most, because they may have been in business for a month, a year, or 10 years. And never really done that.
It's the biggest hurdle for people.
Because I want to sell everybody that.
And I said, I'm not telling, my line is, I'm not telling you to reject people if they walk into your door.
I'm sorry, you do not match my persona. You cannot.
Right. You go ahead and sell to everybody, but you don't have to market to everybody,
That's a good point. That is a good point.
And you don't have to spend your money to bring them in there. And what you find though, everywhere, is you are marketing to this little, tight-knit group, this little circle of people. And there's going to be some residual around that just organically occurs, and you're going to get other people in anyway.
Sure.
You're just not spending your money to get those people in.
Well, it's the referral, or, you're talking to this group of people, and now they love what you're doing. So now they go tell their sister.
Yeah.
And now sister comes in, and then she tells sister-in-law.
Might not be the exact ICP, but she's close enough or whatever.
Because she's out of the age group or doesn't live in the geographic area or socioeconomically is different.
Right.
But that's not what you're saying, the goal is to figure out who the primary
Yes.
persona is, spend your money on them and let them influence others to buy your
I've
product.
also noticed that a lot of small businesses get distracted by logistics. They get distracted by what they think they should be doing, what they, so an example is an esthetician that I consulted, and she had experience, doing makeup, and she's a makeup artist as well, obviously. But her true sort of like love was doing the facials, but she had a nutrition degree as well, and so she took pride in recommending all of these special things people could do for their skin, but also making themselves healthy. She could tell certain things by their skin. And so she said, I always leave my people recommendations on like XYZ based on, what their skin looks like as a part of the facial. So it's not just walking in to get a facial. I don't know. I'm sure, most women in Texas listening to this have done that before. And I really don't care. As long as you're massaging my face, I'm like, whatever.
Do whatever you want.
But then that part, that actually piqued my interest, that she would be able to, like, I could, sit down and tell you that because of this, this, and this, that maybe you should consider this in your diet or this supplement or whatever. And, but she was talking to me about makeup first and how she wanted to do, how she was trying to get more makeup work. And so I said, well, I'm sorry, I have to ask you, do you make like more money on makeup? Because I'm trying to understand why. Well, no. Do you have more customers on the makeup, like referral, like return customer? Well, no, they're mainly like weddings. And so you're not getting return clients, and you don't make more money on the makeup. So can I ask, like, why are you pursuing makeup? Like, why is that what you want? She said, well, right now I have, like, her office was set up in her home, and she has 2 young kids, and she didn't want new clients just coming in. Right? Fair. But I said, well, what about, like, get one of those little spaces? Because she was already looking at a space for something else, but she didn't want to commit to like a whole, they're expensive to go into a salon and rent the booth. And what if you have a consultation first, right? You like go into one of these shared office spaces, most of them for a membership, it can be pretty cheap, right? And you don't even have to have an actual office. You meet me here first. I'll do a consult where I look at your skin. That helps me determine what supplements. I'm going to give you a write-up then once we book your facial. I'm going to do a write-up on, what you need for your skin and the products I'm using and why. You're adding value to the facial product experience, but you're also meeting them ahead of inviting them to your
home. So they're not a complete. So if you get the creepies from them, then you don't invite them into your house.
Set up for that. So it's somebody who's right. And she was like, oh, and I'm like, see, there's always a way, right? Yeah. There's always a way. Like, let's think first, what makes the most sense for my business, period.
Well, and that's it too. It's like, why am I, even as a realtor, and we try and do all the things to find that new client, find that seller. So we try this for a while, or we spend. Realtors are notorious because everybody calls us and asks us for our money to get at the top of Google and, be on Zillow, all these things. So we spend all this money thinking it's going to be the right thing, but it's not, because we're not going to follow up on those leads, or we don't like doing this or that. And yet we've already spent the money because
and who are the clients you like best? I know I'm one of them, but
yes, you are.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just one of my favorites.
You're like, actually, no. You're like, I don't want to deal with you again. No, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't want to deal with mine either. But no, but that's just it. Are you keeping track, right, of who you are? Where are my favorite clients coming from?
Yeah.
They're probably not from Google in a real estate business, because most people are going to ask and I don't know if you heard from them, but my oldest, her stepdaughter, she asked you guys have a realtor, right? Because my cousin, or it's her uncle, sorry, is looking to buy a house and doesn't have a realtor in the area. I mean, right? And I said,
Yeah.
here you go. Right. And that's, so.
And that's how business works so much of the time.
Right.
Whether it's a real estate or a cake or a bakery or a sandwich.
Well, you gotta look at it's looking at how personal is your business, and being, somebody's home, it's hard to get more personal than that.
Right.
Okay, because you got to come in and
you're in their back pocket. You got to understand.
You need to get rid of some of this furniture. You have a lot of stuff in there, and you've got to be able to say that to somebody who's, you want to hear that from somebody you care about and cares about you, and not some stranger. Right? Okay. Yeah. So how personal is your business? In advertising on Google is not the incorrect answer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you have a point and click type of a business, then that is the perfect strategy for you. Okay. But for a highly transactional, type of product, no.
Right.
Right. It's too complicated. And so because of the complicated factor, then that raises that need.
And so that gets back to your persona and your strategy.
Right.
Everything starts there.
Yes.
Everything starts there. So let's say I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a business that I want to grow. Mm-hmm. I've got some repeat clients, but I need to grow or I need to stop because I'm not hitting those thresholds that are going to make it, because I'm still doing all the work, right? Yeah. And I'm getting tired, and my spouse is tired of me working 15 hours a day and not bringing in the millions I promised them when I started this adventure. So,
so what? So Chris to be patient.
So, what would you say to that person if they sat down and they said, I want to grow my customer base?
Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the bustling DFW area? Look no further, because I am Robin McCoy, your trusted real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. For over 15 years, I've been helping buyers and sellers navigate the real estate market here in DFW. So whether you're looking for your dream home or aiming to sell your property for the best price, relax. I got this. As a seasoned professional, I'll guide you through the entire process, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. I understand that buying or selling a home can be a significant decision. That's why I pride myself on providing exceptional customer service. I'll be with you every step of the way, answering your questions and addressing your concerns. So why take a chance with just any real estate agent? Choose me, Robin McCoy, the professional who has proven my excellence in helping both buyers and sellers in the DFW area for over 15 years. Call me today at 214-226-3770 or visit my website at robinmccoyrealty.com. Let's make your DFW real estate dreams come true. Relax. I got this.
What would you say to that person if they sat down and they said, I want to grow my customer base?
Well, there's not one answer to that.
But I want one answer.
Yeah. It will never be that easy. I wouldn't have it. Yeah. But okay, so let's go back to, there's a awesome cake lady in the Colony. And she called me because she's like, I've got lots of walk-in traffic. I've got a great business here. Pie lady. I've got a lot of business here. But I need to do more than this to expand my business. Okay. I know there's opportunity out there, but it can't be in my shop because we're sort of at capacity there in a lot of ways. Right. So It's not the foot traffic I'm having a problem with. So we talked about it. And she's, I need to do catering. Well, pies, people aren't going to just cater just for pie, right? Like they would. Right. So she had tried to approach caterers, and she said, I tried that, and they didn't want to have anything to do with me. Well, you're competition for them, so they're not going to. But have you thought about talking to wedding planners? Maybe you're the giveaway, or like the favor. Maybe you talk to the people selling the wedding cake because she didn't really want to get into cakes. She does the pies. So the cake person can say, well, in addition to the cake, because there's often a dessert table, and maybe that's like the desserts table. You do the dessert table, we're going to pair the cake. There's other people you can pair with. Your caterer is going to be your competition. Also corporate events, right? Corporate giving for, holidays, but also employee appreciation. Just corporate giving in general is another sort of like untapped thing. So she can nicely do these little miniature personal pies that are very cutely wrapped. And she's okay. Like she hadn't thought about some of that stuff and how to get into it. And so it's a process, right? It's a process of discussion. What have you done? And some of it's just like brainstorming and throwing out, crazy ideas. And that's my favorite part, honestly, is just kind of, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What if you did this? And
it's like coaching them through it, right? Because now and you don't know them. You haven't been in business with them and haven't, been
so
there.
I'm learning about it at the same time, to be fair. And she would say, well, I can do cakes, but I would actually prefer not to, because I can only do it. My other people can't. And then I only have a finite amount of time. So she couldn't go do wedding cakes, or she couldn't, she didn't really want to. Plus it's a whole another level of stress, right?
Right.
And so God bless cake people. And so,
but it's like, this is what I like to do. How can I make pies go further?
There's literally always a way. I mean, I challenge anyone to bring me something that I would say, nope, can't do anything for you. There's always a way. And you might be a different market. It might be a different persona. It might be you might have to reconsider how you are pricing and packaging. And so, but marketing is all of those things. Marketing is not just, there's so much to marketing behind the scenes before you even go external. Pricing and packaging is
and that's why people think marketing is just advertising, because you only see the end result of all that planning and all of that thought and step by step by step. So they just think marketing is the end product of the advertising.
Right. And there's a whole process too of understanding your existing client satisfaction level. And there can be ideas and areas of expansion and improvement that come from talking to them. So a lot of people, everybody gets the surveys. Did you enjoy the service? But a lot of people don't really dig into what's called win-loss analysis and truly understanding why you got that business or didn't get that business. And you've got some, gold nuggets of truth that will come out of that will lead you in the right direction. So if your business is struggling, it's very likely that you are blind to the things that you really need to be doing on some level, somewhere. There's something, there's a blinder there for you. And so that's the reason why I really call myself a marketing coach versus a consultant, because I'm helping to, I'm not doing the work for them in most cases, to be really honest. I'm walking them through everything. I'm giving them ideas. I'm referring out to the folks that handle social media and digital as appropriate to create the graphic design for them and the websites and all that good stuff. But I would honestly prefer to be in those planning stages, digging into the data, getting a better idea of where they should be and what they could be doing. I certainly love writing content and working on messaging as well, but that's, there is also power in just being able to refer out to people that are trustworthy. So,
and that's a big part of it too, right? Again, we were talking about at the beginning about how an entrepreneur is the accountant and the assistant and the salesperson and the maid and the computer software engineer. They're everything. And you can't be an expert at all those things. And so being able and willing to find somebody to do some of those things for you is vital.
Yes.
So
somebody trustworthy.
Yeah. And that's why you go to a coach or a mentor who knows that information or knows those people, I should say, and already been vetted, if you will. So let me ask you, so your ideal client persona is a small to mid business owner that is looking for their correct strategy.
Yeah, that's tried their marketing, right? Tried their hand at marketing and realized it's not that easy. Because I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince somebody they need me. I'm just not good at it, first of all. But
strengths and weaknesses. That's good. There it is.
Try it yourself. You'll probably just learn it on your own. That's fine. Who's struggling, who knows they have a good product, but or service, and just is not able to take it to the next level, or the idea of setting a budget and finding their ICP is daunting.
Yeah.
I would say, not that it wouldn't work with men, but I would say that I have found the most success with women who have established a business already, have, a level of income coming in, but again, want to level up. Okay. So I would work with startups, absolutely. But again, is that my ICP? No, because they have to have the money to pay me for no other reason, right? And
right.
My ICP is an established business looking to level up to the next stage, women owned. And I would say even local, because I can or at least doesn't mind referrals who are from the DFW area, because most of my referrals for the other areas of marketing and sales development and that sort of thing are going to be from around here.
Awesome. All right. So for all you small to mid-sized business owners out there that are looking to level up and need the strategy, then you need to call Julia, JFK Marketing. And I've known her for probably about 15 years now, believe it or not. Not 15, probably closer to 10, 11 years. And so she is a client of mine and a friend of mine as well. So part of that the vetted process, right? But we're going to have all of Julia's information in the show notes. So if you have questions and want to call and talk with her about consultations and coaching through your marketing program and your marketing department, if you have that, or just if that's you and you need it to not be you or something like that, then Julia's your person, and we'll have all that information, and so you can reach out to her directly. Any final words, anything that we didn't talk about that I forgot to mention?
You can do it. There's always a way.
There's always a way. There's always a way. There's your cute tagline. There's always a way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us again at another episode of Crushing It with Your Tribe podcast. Thank you, Julia Kramer, for joining us, and be sure again to reach out to her if you have any questions about marketing. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us for Crushing It with Your Tribe with Texas Realtor Robin McCoy. Check out all the show notes for contact information on Robin and her guests, and to access your free resources and information discussed on this episode. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. Thanks again, and we will see you next time on Crushing It with Your Tribe with Robin McCoy.